Hello, and welcome to Digital Ascendancy, a Powerland info podcast series. Here on Digital Ascendancy, we're all about championing transformative digital solutions. This series of podcasts is all about providing knowledge on IT solutions in an easy-to-understand format. On this episode of Digital Ascendancy, we have Garth Reid, Senior Technology Strategist at Powerland, and Matt Maccaux, Field CTO HPE Ezmeral. Today, we're covering HPE Ezmeral containerized platform and how Cognitive Quanta Corporation used it to rein in the boogeyman that Kubernetes can be. And now, off to Garth.
Great. Hi, everybody. Garth Reid from Powerland here and Cognitive Quanta Corporation. I'm here with Matt Maccaux. Matt, welcome to our podcast. Matt is the worldwide field CTO for HPE Ezmeral, hailing out of Denver, Colorado. Matt, thanks for joining us today. This is fantastic. Maybe you can sort of give us an idea, an initial kickoff this conversation here about what HPE is doing in the field of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and enabling that for customers and making things happen for our clients from an HPE perspective.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Garth. It's a real pleasure to be with you today. So it's a very broad question. HPE has a ton of offers in the space of data science, artificial intelligence, machine learning. We can talk about providing the best, deepest, fastest storage for processing these analytical models. We can talk about the high performance computing for these analytical models. But today I want to talk about how we provide software and can deliver that as a service to run on top of all of that fantastic infrastructure. And so what I'm talking to organizations about today is helping them be more productive to deliver whatever that specific analytical outcome that they are interested in, whether it's a hospital that's trying to improve patient care, whether it's an automotive company trying to solve autonomous driving. These use cases are as varied as you can possibly imagine, but we see these common patterns in terms of the development and operationalization of these machine learning models. These early designs where users need to think, what is the best model for this? What are the best tools and libraries? Do I work with an organization to give me a head start on these models? And then how do I train them against all of the data that I have throughout my organization? And how often do I have to deal with IT to go through this process? And that's where we tend to see the breakdown. So HPE is helping to eliminate the friction between these various analytical users that are looking to accelerate their organization's productivity and IT's ability to deliver that particular outcome.
Excellent. That really is pretty clear on what we're trying to do here. So, from a Powerland perspective, with Cognitive Quanta as a capability within Powerland, what we're seeing is an enablement of that, where we're bringing that specific skill to that Canadian marketplace. And we're going to do that, Matt, using the Ezmeral platform that HPE has developed and brought to market. And it's very key for us and for our customers to understand that we're in that particular position to drive that value and to help our customers make a difference in their business by enabling and liberating all of that data, making it accessible, and then building out that Ezmeral platform to help make things happen. How would you characterize the process that our customer? I mean, it sounds complicated. I'm kind of scared, and there's terrifying things like Kubernetes in there, and there's security issues and all these moving parts. And this may be relatively new for some of our customers who are listening to this podcast. How would you kind of break down and kind of simplify the onboarding, or how would we get into this kind of a process to make use of this capability?
Yeah, it does sound intimidating, especially as you start digging into the solution and what's being delivered and starting to read analysts and blogs and about how the best way to do this. And this is still an emerging space technology wise. There's no single best way to deliver these outcomes. But what we have put together through HPE, Ezmeral plus Greenlake is the easy button to help these organizations get started. And delivered through Powerland Canada, organizations don't need to worry about what version of Kubernetes this is running and how secure that data is. That is all handled and sorted by our organizations working together to deliver that outcome. So for a data scientist, they get a notebook, which is what they've been using since they came out of university. That's what the experience they expect. And they need access to data, and it's there for them. So all of that is part of that onboarding process as we work with these new clients to come into the platform. They just have that user experience, that app store experience where they click a button and provision their environments and all of that difficult aspect that you mentioned before, Garth, about Are we spinning up in a container? Are we orchestrating in Kubernetes? Do I have my own namespace? All of that is handled behind the scenes based on our best of breed technology. And so if a data scientist needs a GPU, they simply click, give me these GPU resources. And it is provisioned for them when they need it and then shut down when they don't. And if you're thinking to yourself, Matt, this sounds a heck of a lot like that cloud experience that I would get, well, that's exactly what it is. But it's done for you in the manner that you expect with your data, your privacy concerns, and you're not shipping it off to some cloud that may be analyzing that data. This is about your organization and your data in your cloud.
Okay, great. So this is not going to be in somebody else's cloud. This is going to be something that you can run on-prem. This is something where you don't have to worry about connecting and moving all of those digital assets into somebody else's infrastructure. This is something that can be deployed locally. What other kind of, I mean, there's some pretty strong attributes in there, Matt. How about scale? I mean, how does this thing, can we scale this thing down for, some of our Canadian customers where it's like, well, I'm not a enormous organization, but I'd sure love to have the advantages of understanding my data. How can you give me that kind of understandings around scaling, both up and down?
Yeah, so the beauty here is the relationship with Powerland Canada allows organizations to actually deploy in a shared cloud model. With Powerland's relationship with colocation centers, you don't have to ship all of this infrastructure to your specific location. You can put it in a trusted data center that Powerland is managing. That allows you to get started very, very small, and you only pay for the services that you need, just like you would if you were working in one of the public cloud vendors. And then as you need to scale up, we are scaling up with you. We've got reserved infrastructure and all that, but the software does all of the hard work there. So this grows with your particular business. And sort of the problem space that we found is that a lot of organizations struggled to adopt these data and analytics capabilities in the public cloud because it was so difficult to ship all of that sensitive data in a compliant way into the cloud. So we turned around and said, let's solve it the other way. Let's bring the cloud to your data so that you can get to work more quickly and get those same outcomes that you would expect in the cloud delivered in the cloud manner.
Excellent. So, Matt, then it sounds pretty simple. I mean, I can simply show up with my Jupyter notebooks. I've got my GitHub repositories. I've got all that kind of stuff, and I can just sort of show up, place the stuff inside this Ezmeral capability, and then consume that on prem. Or as you indicated, Powerland and CQC are making this available through a colo type consumption model, and we can put the well-known GreenLake consumption managed services capability as a wrapper around this as well, and then customers can simply peel off what they need, consume, get billed for that consumption, and then move on to the next project. Excellent. Well, that was quite a bit. I really appreciate this, Matt. This is I think creates a lot of clarity for us and really helps me understand that when I'm working with our Powerland customers here in Canada, that we've got a real simplified, low friction way of just simply moving customers into this type of environment, low risk, no huge massive commitments, no big infrastructure build required, and we can easily onboard clients into the Ezmeral capabilities to drive out that inference based analytics solutioning using AI ML tools and data science skills that we have access to, and away we go. Excellent. Great. Any thoughts around what's happening otherwise outside of what's just your Esmeralda? You're just seeing a lot of great adoption here worldwide as you talk to customers all around.
Yeah, I just to double down on what you said, this is a first of its kind. I think not just in Canada, but I think in North America, what we are co-delivering here really is a first of its kind opportunity to deliver these types of outcomes without having to decide, do I have to just do this in the cloud? So I think this is unique and I feel it's compelling. And I think it's to get to your last question there, in support of this theme, this final phase of digital transformation where all of this data that's been stuck in corners of the data centers with these very proprietary monolithic systems, CIOs and CTOs and chief digital officers have been scratching their heads trying to figure out how they can bring all of that into the cloud. This is just thematically part of that approach of, let's bring the cloud to this and then tie in all of those principles together. So the offering here, I think, is going to give these organizations the fuel they need to really accelerate this final phase of the digital transformation journey.
Fantastic. Excellent message. Thank you so much, Matt. All right.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Garth. This is a
Okay.
great conversation.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Thanks. Bye now.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and hit the bell notification to get the latest and greatest videos from Powerland when they come out. Follow us on social media at Powerland_CA on Twitter, Powerland Canada on LinkedIn, and Powerland CA on Facebook to hear about the latest and greatest in IT solutions.